Hello, am I audible, guys? One second. Hello, everyone. Good evening. So, how is my audio today, guys? Am I too loud or am I am I lagging? Is everything good? Is the board clear? So, if everything is proper, put perfect in the chat, guys. If everything is good, okay, everything is normal. Okay, that's good to hear. Okay, so good evening, everyone. So in today's class, I will first of all I welcome you guys to today's session on learning from our legends. Okay. So as you know, last class, if you guys were there, we covered Mikhail Tal. So far we have covered three legends. We have covered Paul Murphy, Alexander Alekhine, and Mikhail Tal. Okay. So let's get started with today's legend. So just give me a second, guys. Just gonna adjust certain things. Yeah. So today we are gonna cover. Our topic is on a legend named Emanuel Lasker. Okay. So if you guys don't know who Emanuel Lasker was, so let me just give you guys a brief introduction to Emanuel Lasker. So Emanuel Lasker was the second world chess champion after Steinitz. Okay, so Steinitz is someone whom we are going to cover in the next class. Okay, so this dude right here was like the world champ for 27 years. So he's the longest reigning world champion. Okay, so nobody has held the title for this long, from like 1894 to 1921. Okay, so that's he's been a like I think he's been champion for more than my age, I guess, right? Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Another crazier fact is like even when he was taking his last breath, okay, he told his wife, King of Chess, and he just passed away. Okay, so even before he dies, he wants to utter the word of chess, right? And also some other facts are like he's a great mathematician, he's a great psychologist too. He was able to guess his opponent's next move and his plan and his strategies. Okay, so that's some kind of a it must be some kind of a wizard, guys, right? Okay. So, anyways, let's get started. Also, he's also known for something even more great. That is, he also invented a crazy sacrifice known as double bishop sacrifice. So today we'll be looking at couple of his games. Okay, in that one of the game involves where he sacrifices two bishops. Okay, so I think we'll just get started with this game, right? Without any further ado. Okay. Hi, this is okay. By the way, anyways, before we start, let's see how many members we have in the chat, guys. Okay, today I'm happy. Like there's some people. There's some students here. Okay, we have Ranav. Hi, Ranav. Aiden. Okay, who's DCARCH? Okay, I don't know if I pronounced it correct. I didn't even pronounce, by the way. I just spelled it right. Hi, Anchal. Hi, Pranav. Hi, good evening. Okay, if you guys can hear, there's still some noises going outside. Seems like Diwali is not over yet for some people. Okay, I'm so sorry about that. Okay, let's get started. Hopefully that voice, the audio isn't clear for that. Okay, so in this position, uh, so not in this position, sorry, in this game, Lasker was playing with the white pieces, okay, and his opponent was someone named Bor John Herman. Okay, someone who's not very popular. Okay, maybe it was his last game because after this game probably he ended up retiring, I guess. Okay, because that's how this game went. So Lasker started off with the move f4. Okay, Crazy move, guys. If you're a beginner watching this, please don't play the move f4 because that weakens your king. But this is Lasker here. Okay, so when top level players played, okay, they must have studied it, of course, right? So they know all the risks involved here. Okay, that doesn't mean you guys start off with this. If you're a beginner, this is a terrible move, guys. This is a terrible move. Okay, d5 and e3. So e3 has been played, and now the bishop is kind of sad. Knight f6, b3, and now the bishop is happy again. So because the bishop now finds a new route to go to the b2 square. Okay, so this is something that we called as a fianchetto in chess. Okay, and now we have the move e6. Why is this arrow come out? E6. So we'll just glide through the opening again. That's the boring phase. I don't want to explain the opening, guys. So bishop b2. So if fianchettos the bishop, okay. Bishop e7. Bishop d3. Okay. Again, some weird placements of the pieces. The bishop usually doesn't go here, but where else can you put the bishop? Right? We can't put it to c4 as of now. So bishop d3 probably plays a very good role. Let's see how. b6, knight to f3, and now bishop b7. Okay, so as of now, both of them are developing their pieces. Okay, knight to c3, and as you see, this knight will make a quite a long journey. Okay, from c3 to, I don't know, to a crazy attacking position. So white castles, black castles, and it seems that every minor pieces have been developed for both the sides. So we are done with the opening phase, and let's assess this opening. Okay. So by the way, the name of this opening, what white played, is called the bird's opening. Okay, so he has pushed the f pawn, must have weakened the king, but as you see, since white has castled, now there are some chances for the rook to lift itself. Okay, so that's the reason this is played. It's some high level stuff. Okay, let's just not get too much detailed into this. So black was like, okay, I'm just going to play the move c5. Okay, it's anyways white's turn. Okay, knight to e2. Okay, so white starts off his journey. Okay, so where in the world is this knight going? Okay, let's see. So knight to e2. So he's like, I want to open up the bishop. The bishop stays at the g7 square now. c5. Okay, so taking some space, controlling the center and the queen side. And he plays the move knight to g3. Okay, so let's see where is this knight exactly heading to. Okay, now that's going to be pretty interesting. Queen c7, connecting the rooks. Okay, and now knight to e5. So Lasker is like, I have enough control over the e5 square, so you can take it if you want. So he plays knight takes e5, and Lasker decides to take with the bishop. Okay, attacking the queen. So where should he move the queen, guys? Where would you move the queen if you were black? So let's turn to the chat. I am Anaga. Okay, I didn't see the chat. So it's black to play. Where would you move the queen, guys? The queen is under attack. Simple question, guys. So just wanted to see if the chat is active. Queen c6. Yes, of course. So when you're thinking about moving your queen, you need to look for active squares, right? So queen c6. Okay, now you guys wonder, I'm getting the queen out too early, right? But there's no way to attack the queen, right? So this is the move that was played. Queen to c6. Okay. Now whenever I see this bishop and the queen, I feel so uneasy. Okay, I feel so uneasy because whoop, if these pieces weren't there, then there would be a mate threat. Looks pretty squarey, right? So for that very reason, Lasker played the move queen e2, telling black that no mate for you, buddy. Okay, And also hoping that at one point, if black plays the move rook e8, then we have a sneaky bishop b5, right? A little cute trick, I guess, right? Of course, that was not blundered, right? So black was like, okay, you might be planning that. Okay, that looks pretty cute too. So I'll play the move a6. So a6, and probably he's going to play the move b5 and then probably c4, and he's going to break open the queen side, right? So what does Lasker have to say to that? So Lasker was like, rawr, I'm going to play the knight h5. While you do all that, I'm just going to tickle your king. Okay. So knight to h5. So look at this knight. This knight might be. I'm tired of looking at this knight move right now. You know, knight to c3, knight to e2, knight to g3, and knight to h5. It looks like a crazy move. Okay. So what does black do here? What would you do here if you were black? Let's hear it from the chat. Queen c6. Okay. Or d7. So what would you do here if you're the chat? If you guys were in the black's shoes, what would you guys have done here? So what is the knight exactly attacking? Is it actually attacking anything? What is the threat here exactly? Is the question. Wow. I'm waiting for the answers, guys. Okay, the knight is not attacking anything basically. I mean, probably is threatening knight into f6. So after knight into f6, bishop into f6. So let's say some random moves like anything like rook e8. Probably knight takes f6, bishop takes, and he has to take with the pawn. The king gets a little naked, right? Queen g4 check, and it's pretty unpleasant. Okay, so for that very reason, black decided to chop off the knight. Okay, so what would you guys play here now? I must be. This seems like a very stupid question, right? Must be like, sir, it's a pretty obvious move. We just take the knight and we threaten mate and we hope that black just blunders, right? So something like rook e8, queen takes h7, right? I wish life would work like that, like, um, you just hope for things and, you know, things just turn out how you want, right? But that isn't the case. So after knight into h5, can you guys guess what Lasker actually did here? Okay, because if you do queen into h5, which is normal, like you just lost your knight, right? You just lost your knight. You have to capture it back. He plays the move g6 or even f5, I guess, right, to stop mate, and the bishop is now sad, right, because there's nothing to do here for the bishop. Right? There's no way to attack now. The bishop just gets locked. Okay, this bishop seems happy, but not this bishop. But I want to make sure that both our bishops are happy, guys. Okay, so can you guys guess what Lasker played here? It's tactics time, guys. Come on. If g6, queen h4. Yeah, queen into h5, g6, queen h4. And what's the point? I wish I could see the time stamps on the chat, guys. That's a problem. I'm not able to see the time for some reason. Mate threat. Bishop into h7. There we go. That's what we want to hear, guys. That's what we want to hear. Bishop into h7. Come on, whenever I say there's a tactic, what are the three things you have to look for? If you guys have attended my class, what are the three things you have to look for, guys? Let's hear it. Whenever I say, what is the best move? If I ask any question, it's a tricky move, right? There has to be these three things. Checks. That's all, huh? Anaga? Checks? Well, why don't you write it in full? Checks and then what? Checks, captures and attacks, of course. Right? These three things, if you guys, end up forgetting, just write it 100 times, guys. So bishop into h7, check. Right? Why are we just sacking our bishop? Are we crazy? Yes, we are crazy, guys. So king into h7. And now queen into h5, check. Right? So we just sacked our bishop. Right? We just sacked our bishop. So we lost our bishop. Right? So what? So what, guys? We have another bishop, right? We have another bishop. So there's nothing to worry about. We can afford to sack a bishop if we have another bishop, right? But that's not what Lasker thinks. So Lasker is like, if I have another bishop, I'm going to sack that bishop too. Right? Wow. Crazy. Crazy. So absolute disrespect to the bishops, right? So anyways, let's see what's the point, okay? We are going to we are going to talk some sanity behind why the bishops are being sacrificed for no goddamn reason, because if I don't explain the reasons, right, then I'm pretty sure you guys will just start sacking pieces for no reason, and then then I'm going to be sad. Right? Okay, so anyways, let's get to the point. So king into g7. So can you guys find the winning sequence? Pretty easy, guys, pretty easy. Come on. Why did he sack two bishops? Why did he sack two bishops? Complete disrespect to bishops, huh? Bro, who's this bro here? RH3. What is RH3, man? Aiden. How can the rook go to H3? RF3. Okay. I want you, like, listen, guys. If you guys are telling the answer, don't just say one move, guys. If you guys can. Now, if you're saying one move, of course, you have to tell what black is going to play. Okay, I am so tired of saying RF3, guys. I'm so tired of seeing. Come on, let's go further beyond RF3. Come on, guys. Yeah, we all know we're going to lift the rook, right? Of course, he sacked the bishop so that we need to checkmate the king. RF3, RH3. Oh. Queen H4. Wow, Queen H4 is definitely not something you'd consider. Ranav, just see what happens after you play Queen H4. RF3, D4, Rook G3. Okay, fine. So I get your point. So everyone are like, I'm gonna play RF3. So why RF3? What's the threat with the move RF3, guys? What are we threatening with the move RF3? What is it? What is the threat here, guys? What is the threat? Pretty straightforward, right? Pretty straightforward. What is white threatening here? Checkmate. 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 Okay, RG3 is a mate threat. Okay, now since you guys spotted that white is threatening mate, right, RG3 mate, now it's up to you guys to find how does black escape. Come on. Now you guys told me that there is a mate, right? But you know, instead of playing hope chess, just you guys need to find the right sequence. Come on, guys. There is a way for black to escape here. Let's see if you guys can find it. Just imagine if you guys were black here. Okay, should I just flip the board? Let's flip it for once. Okay, now it looks scary. Oh my god, I'm just black now. I'm gonna be mated. There's no way. So should I just resign here? Is it resignable, guys? Shall we just throw in the towel? No, it's not. How does black escape? Think carefully. Rook g8. Yes. So rook g3 is the threat, and if you don't do anything about it, you're just going to get mated. Right now, you guys might think like, okay, just make a random move like, I don't know, like rook d8 or something. What's the mate threat? I just go queen f6. If you go queen f6, then queen g5 mate is there. Okay, so just to make things clear here, so rook to g8. Okay, and now let's flip the board. White plays the move rook g3 and black goes to f8 and then he just runs to China after this, right? So there is no mate threat after this. There is no mate coming, sadly, right? Okay. Oops. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. Okay. So let's just get back to the position. This was not the position. Sorry, guys. Where in the world did the position go? 95 a6. Yeah, here. Okay. So to make sure that the king doesn't run to China, how do we keep him, locked in our country? We don't want the king to run away. We don't want the king to run away. So can you guys throw in an intermediate move to make sure that the king doesn't run away, guys? We want the king to be in these two ranks. How do you make sure that the king stays in these two ranks? Rook g8, I mean, okay. No. Let me just see if my phone is not charged. Okay. How do you make sure that the king stays in the g file? Queen g4. Yes, of course. So you play the move queen g4, making sure that the king doesn't run away. And now, after king h8, okay, sorry, king h7 was played, not king h8. Anyways, if he plays king f6, then queen g5 is made. Okay, just to make things clear again. King h7, and now you lift the rook to f3, and you threaten mate, and black just resigns, right? Black just resigns because there's no way to stop mate, right? If that's what you guys think, then think again because the game is still not over, guys. The game is still not over. How does black stop mate? These are the very important things, guys. You guys need to learn to how to defend, right? Think. How does white stops himself from being mated? Bishop h4. Yeah, bishop h4 is one way to, but bishop h4, rook h3, and then what do you have now? Okay, you just delayed yourself from being mated in two, right? You just delayed from being mated in two. Now you guys gonna get mated in three, right? Because rook into h4 is coming, right? Rook takes h4 is going to be a checkmate, right? So think again. Bishop h4 is the second best move. Okay, there's another best move, guys. Whoever it was. What is pd4? pd4. I've never heard of something called as pd4. You mean d4 runoff, right? Okay, so let's get our notations correct, guys. Right, we are all chess people here, so let's just talk proper chess language here, right? So why do you want to play the move d4, Ranav? Can you give an explanation? Why do you want to play d4? Anyways, if you guys haven't liked the stream, just click the like button, guys. Is it such a hard thing to do? It's not, right? I think Pawn of d4 is the correct move. Do you guys agree with, wait, not d4. Okay, it's not d4. There's a better move, guys. Come on, think. How do you stop rook h3 mate? Let me give you a clue. You have to put someone in between. Okay, not the bishop though. It's got its turn. e5. Yes. So you play the move e5. So what's the point of e5? So after the move rook h3, you guys think it's mate, but then suddenly the queen swings over, and then it's not mate. It's not mate anymore. It's okay. It's okay. We just take the rook and we be happy with our life. Right? We are up a queen. Yay! Let's party. Let's party. But then you look at the position. He has two rooks. We have one rook. If you just count the material, he has two rooks, two bishops, and we have a queen and the rook. So how much is the material? So 9 plus 5. How much is 9 plus 5? That is equal to 14. Right? So if you count here, 3 plus 3, 6 plus 5, 11 plus 5, 16. Right? And the pawns are like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. It's pretty much equal. The game is pretty much equal, but it seems like white has miscalculated, right? He just sacked the bishop, right? He just sacked two bishops, and now he, you know, if you see, white has sacked two bishop and a rook for the queen, right? Well, Lasker wouldn't have gone for this variation if he wouldn't have calculated it correctly, right? So can you guys find the best move here too, right? Come on. He has calculated this all the way from, I don't know, bishop into h7, I guess. Yeah, the moment he sacked his bishop, he saw all the moves till this point. Okay, and he kept one move prepared for this in case, like, he has like black has like extra material or something. So what is the move here? Rook f1. That's done, right? Rook f1 is good. Yeah, queen d7. Queen d7. Did you guys forget your basic tactics, guys? Fork the two bishops. It's a 4 key. So he's gonna lose the bishop. So bishop f6, he decides to save the dark one. Right, now queen takes b7. And now it's queen and a rook versus two rooks and a bishop. Again, the game's still not over. Right, but white is still winning. But now white is winning. Okay, white is winning because, yeah, two rooks is equals to a queen. Right, but a rook is stronger than a bishop. Right? So king g7, and now the game is pretty simple. You just get the rook, or you can even take this pawn, or you could take this pawn. All you have to do is capture some pawns. I don't know why he doesn't take the pawn. He could have just taken, right? Okay, maybe he has some ideas of rook g4 check here, and now he decides to take. Okay, and now black was like, I don't want to take this pawn. I know you're a tricky guy because if I take the pawn, then he has a very beautiful fork here. Okay, can you guys find the fork here for white? There is a beautiful double attack. Let's see if you guys can find it. So there are different types of double attacks in chess, guys. Fork. Yes, there is a fork. Subramanian Murgappa. Yes. Okay. I hope I'm not lagging here, guys. Okay, I'm not. I'm guessing I'm not. There is a fork here for white. White to play, find a double attack. It's a pretty cute one. I'll give you guys a minute. So I hope you guys are solving puzzles. Queen f6. How can the queen go to f6? Aiden. The queen cannot go to f6. It's not a knight, right? The queen cannot go to f6. Okay, I guess you mean queen e6, right? Yeah. So queen e6 is a pretty cute tactic. You're threatening mate and you're threatening the bishop, right? There is no way to stop it. I think queen h5 also does the same thing, if I'm not wrong. Queen h5 also is the same threat. You fork the weak pieces, right? Okay. So queen e6. I mean, this didn't happen anyway. So he, after e into f4, he decided not to take the bishop, and now he just pushes the pawn, threatening to win. Rook to d7, protecting the pawn. Queen e6. Telling that you can't capture my queen, because if you capture my queen, then I just call the arbiter, right? So he plays the move f6. I don't want your queen. I just want to make sure that your rook stops staring at my bishop. Okay, fine, fine. But you know what? I am Emanuel Lasker, right? I'm known for sacrifices too. So he sacrificed the rook. If I can sacrifice two bishops, why not? What is the rook, right? So he sacrificed the rook, sacrifice to capture. And now the win is pretty simple, guys. Can you guys find the winning sequence? Okay, there's several moves here. It's a forced win. We just win. We just win material now. Come on. What's the winning move here, guys? Pretty simple. F5. PE7. Again, we don't say P for a pawn move. Okay, whenever we move the pawn, we say the name of the square. E7. E7 is good. Okay. Now, when you're looking for a forcing moves, again, I am seriously going to make you guys write this 100 times, I guess. We look for checks, right? E7 is an actually E7 is good, I guess. But E7, what happens after he just takes? I don't think it's pretty much winning anymore, right? At least it's not easy. We're just losing the pawn, right? So we look for a forced variation, guys. There's a way to win a rook, guys. Two move variation to win the rook. There's a two move variation to win the rook, guys. Come on. Queen g6, king e7, queen f7, queen h8, king e7, queen h7. Yeah, both your answers are correct. So if queen g6, then the only move is, if queen g6, the problem is there is queen f8. Okay, that's the problem. Okay, so queen h8 was played, because after playing queen h8, there's only one move, that is king e7, and now queen g7, and now we just take the rook, and now life is chill for white, right? So he's up a queen against a rook, and now he's just going to gobble the pawns. Black could have just resigned here, but he just played on because he wanted to, show our students that you should never resign during the games, right? That's a very good thought. Never ever resign. But again, this is Lasker here, right? So would have probably considered resigning. Just takes, and now you just push the passes, right? You can even sack the queen. Oh, that's what he does. He just sacks the queen, and now he resigns because I at this point black is like, I don't want to take any more of your sacks, man. I'm just too done with your sacks, right? So because if he just takes, pawn takes, and now king versus one pawn, if anyone's winning is not black, that's for sure, right? Yeah. So a very instructive game, I guess. So is there something that you guys learned from this game? So I'm pretty sure you guys learned, don't respect your bishops, sacrifice them. When you sacrifice one bishop, just sacrifice the other bishop, right? Okay. I hope that's not what you guys learned. Okay. If you guys come to the position, the most instructive sack was, I think, the point was, you know, is just to open up the king. Okay. Now, if you're always, when you're sacrificing, you have to make sure that the king is going to get mated. Otherwise, you don't sack, right? You don't just sack for fun. thinking that, oh, if Emanuel Lasker can sack, why not me? Okay, well, Emanuel Lasker is a 27-year, 27 times, not 27 times. He's been champion for 27 years, not you, right? Yeah. Okay. Anyways, something crazy is like after the most funny thing is after I saw this game, immediately the next day I just played a game, okay, and I too ended up doing a double bishop sacrifice, okay. So I have that game saved right over here. I have that game saved right away, so I can just show you that game. I was just playing a blitz game, okay. So I was playing as black over here. So this is the game. It's the Sicilian game. Okay, bishops. So pieces are getting developed. Knight f6, short castle. So if you guys don't know this opening, this is the accelerated dragon. Okay, so pretty cute name, right? Chess names are pretty cute. And now this is something what Lasker does, right? So I thought I'll do the same thing. Put the bishop here, put the bishop. The bishops are like X-raying the board here. Not X-raying, sorry, just cutting the board into two, right? So he played the move king b1. I've just got my rook here. So we have a pretty similar situation here, right? The rooks, there's a chance of rook lift. So bishop to d3, rook to d8, and bishop h6. Okay, which was a blunder here. And here I played bishop h8, which was a blunder given here actually. I was not calculating, I was just 1 minute on time. So h4 and rook d6 is what I played. I was just preparing to do a sacrifice now. He played h5. Okay, so now can you guys guess what I just did here? Okay, shouldn't be so apparent here, right? What did I play here? Again, ignore all that mistakes and stuff, okay? Game over. So can you guys guess the sequence that I just played? Again, inspiration from Emanuel Lasker, right? Bishop into h2. What is bishop into h2? Again, can you guys get your notations clear, guys? Or you mean bishop into a2? Bishop into a2, yes. Bam. Right on mark. Okay, this is what Emanuel Lasker would do, right? King into a2. And now queen a4 check. King b1. What do you do now? When you sack another bishop, what should you look for? When you sack one bishop, what should you look for now? What do you look for now? When you sack one bishop, see if you can sack another one. Right? That's what we learned from Lasker. So bishop into b2 and king into b2. And this time we don't have to make sure that the king doesn't run to China or something like that. The king is never running to China. Rook b6, queen c1, and then queen a3 mate. Okay, queen a1 mate. What's funny is as soon as I just studied this game, this Lasker's double bishop sacrifice, I just got motivated and I thought I'd give it a shot too. And it just happened, right? So if I can do it, you guys can do it too. Okay, but again, don't cry if you guys lose, guys. So when you guys are doing it, you have to make sure that you're doing it with some precautions here, right? Okay. So that was one of the legendary games. Okay, so ever since that game happened, okay, double bishop sacrifices were invented and it was pretty much studied. Okay, so he is the one who invented double bishop sacrifices. Okay, so let's just have a look at another quick game. Okay, this one is also a very instructive game, guys. Very interesting game. So this was played with a player named Pillsbury. Okay, so this time the player who is playing against is the legendary Pillsbury. Okay, so Pillsbury was like the top 5 in the world at that time. Sadly, passed away at 33, I guess. So passed away at a very young age. Okay, otherwise he would have surely become a world champion. Okay, so let's just quickly have a look at the game. So d4, d5, c4, e6, knight c3. Again, I'm just going to glide through the opening, guys. That's really not a point. We're just going to get to the main position. So bishop g5. So this was not a very common move at that time. Okay, but this was his preparation. because white can play, black can do this move. Okay, by the way, Emanuel Lasker is playing with the black pieces here, guys. So c into d4 and queen into d4. So the queen has come out. So when the queen has come out, how do you welcome the queen, guys? What do you do to welcome the queen when the queen has come out? Queen a3 is also mate. Yeah, it is. Right? What do you do when the queen has come out, guys? What do you do whenever the queen comes out in the opening? How do you welcome the queen? Do you guys take a garland and just, you know, put it on the queen? King k c6. You play king to c6. Knight c6. Okay. Okay. Knight c6. Again, I'm not trying to troll, guys. I'm just trying to make sure that you guys get your notations correctly, right? So knight c6. He shuffles his queen to h4. Again, this was preparation again. Okay, of course, they are master level player. They're just top players at the world. They of course know the principles not to get the queen out. But they have studied this line. So queen h4. Now white is putting some pressure over here. This is called as a battery, right? So we just quietly unpin ourselves. We don't want to deal with any of this sort of things. So white just long castles and tries to play aggressive, and he's telling that okay, this pawn is pinned now. So black is like I feel a little uncomfortable with you pinning me over here. So I'm just gonna move my queen, and I feel this is a very good square for the queen because I'm just gonna put some pressure over here because your king is over here, right? And he plays the move e3, opening up his bishop. He develops his bishop. Always play the move king b1 when you have castled, so that you protect this pawn and you give some freedom for this knight, right? So that the knight can move and stop babysitting this pawn, right? Yeah. So black plays the move h6 and white doesn't care that his bishop is going to hang because he kind of read black's mind. Okay, he's like, I know you're going to take, I know you're not going to take my bishop because you like to sack bishop, you don't like to capture the bishops, right? So he knew that Lasker is not going to take his bishop. Okay, so he plays e into d5. Okay, the reason he can't take the bishop is because if he takes the bishop, then he loses his rook. Okay, so I was just trying to troll, guys. So c into d5 and e into d5 is what happened, and knight to d4. So it looks like a very boring positional game, but don't worry, guys, I'm there, right? If it was a boring positional game, I wouldn't have shown it to you guys. So short castles, and now he takes the knight because now the rook is not here, right? The rook is here now. So now if you're like, okay, I'm not going to take my bishop, guess what? I'm going to take the bishop now, right? So it's like, okay, fine, you can have the bishop, and now black has a beautiful bishop, right? So black has two bishops, white has one bishop. Okay. So white was pretty sure that, if Lasker is going to have the bishop, he's going to sack it at one point, right? So there's nothing to be scared. Okay. So queen to h5 was played. Okay. Queen to h5. So what is white threatening here, guys? Avengers assemble. Okay. What is white threatening with the move queen h5? So he's threatening the d5 pawn, right? Yeah. He's threatening to capture over here. Okay. Now you guys might be like, what's there? I can just capture it back. He's gonna lose his queen, but then there's a knight, right? So we play knight takes d4 because the knight is pretty much good looking in the center, right? So we just get rid of that knight. So pawn takes, and now we have two pieces attacking the pawn, right? And now we play the move bishop e6, right? And now if you assess the position, this position does not look so good for white because of the open C file, right? And you know who's going to come to the C file, right? No prizes for guessing who's going to come for the C file, who's going to come and occupy the C file, right? Who's going to come and occupy the C file, guys? Is it such a hard thing? Come on, guys. I want, yeah, the rook. of course, right? So we have the rooks who are going to come and assemble at the c file. And okay, so here white plays the move f4. Okay, so what's the threat here? The threat is to play the move f5. So that's pretty much clear, right? So we don't really bother because that's not a big threat. We just move the bishop back. So he plays the move rook to c8. Black plays the move, white plays the move f5. Okay. So at this point, okay, now it's time for the fireworks to start, guys, because in the 18th centuries, fireworks were not there, right? So that's when Black thought, let's introduce fireworks into the world. Okay. So can you guys guess what Black played here? Okay. So whenever I ask guess the move here, you know what to look for, right? I don't want to repeat myself. Can you guys guess? What are the possibilities now for Black here? Crazy possibilities. Think, guys, come on. G6. G6 is pretty interesting. You attack the queen. Okay, but he's just gonna take, and after you take, he takes the pawn, and we start crying, and then he takes our bishop, and then we start crying, right? So I don't think that's a pleasant move, Shaurya. Any other moves? Any other moves, guys? The moves should be crazy. Again, G6 was crazy, but we don't want that much crazy move where we just start crying, right? Come on, guys. I know you guys are crazy students. You can look for crazy moves, guys, right? We have some crazy students in our class. So find the crazy moves, guys. I'm just gonna lay back and look at the chat for some time. Come on, guys. Bishop into f5. Yeah, that is one possibility. Bishop into f5. But if you play the move bishop into f5, which looks crazy again because again we have crazy students, right? There's queen into f5 and yeah, that is one possibility again. Okay, we will consider that too, but we just lose a bishop. I know this is last career. He doesn't respect his bishops, right? But in this game he does. Okay, in this game he does. So what's another possibility? Bishop into f5 is one. So that's well played, Shaurya. Any other possibilities? Yes. What? Yes, Ranav. Do you have something? What do you do now? Rook into c3. Okay. So a rook is worth 5 points and a knight is worth 3 points. Right? So whenever I teach a student, will you do this? Are you so if you can do the math, 5 is bigger than 3, right? Well, a beginner would say no. But if I ask the same question to Lasker in this question, in this position, he would say yes, because what's more worth than the rook and a knight? The king. So his point was rook into c3, and after, okay, let's say b into c3. Okay, so if b into c3 was played, this game is like too winning. No, it's too easy for black now. Rook c8, and if you take the bishop, you take here, and if you take king f8, and this position is pretty much hard for black to, white to defend, because there's mate threats, there's bishop takes d4 coming, right? So this position is kind of good for black. Okay, so what does white do here? It, oops, sorry. So instead of taking the rook, he takes the bishop. Okay, he's like, I don't want your rook, I'll take your bishop. Okay. So can you guys guess what white plays, what black plays now? Now the next move played, okay, you guys might think it's a mouse slip, okay? The next move what black played, you guys might think was a mouse slip. Even Morphe wanted to be alive, to see this move actually. Okay, Morphe was like, can I come back to life so that I watch this move played? Okay, so can you guys guess? Okay, this move is like ultra crazy, guys. Even crazy is not a word that can be defined for this. Okay, so that's why I just invented a new word called as ultra crazy. Okay, if you guys can find a better word, there is no mice in 1800s. Okay, who said there was a mice in 1800s, Aiden? Rook h3. Rook h3. What is rook h3? Oh, you okay? Rook h3 is crazy. It is crazy because we have crazy students in our class. Okay, but sadly, that just loses again. Rook h3 is a good crazy move, but you guys have to be even more crazy to get the crazy answer, guys. Okay. Okay. Anyways, you guys are almost correct. Okay. Whoever said the move rook h3, that was pretty much close. Instead of the rook going to this side, he decides let's go here. And oops, that's not where I wanted to go. Okay. Again, bro, there's a pawn right over here, right? So let's see what happens if white just takes the rook. Okay. And now this is just losing for white if he just takes the rook. Okay. He didn't take the rook though. That's why I'm telling. So can you guys find the win here? Okay. It's not like an immediate mate, but can you guys find the winning combination? Look for checks, captures, attacks, and calculate, guys. Come on. There are so many checks, right? Or is there any good check? There's this check, there's this check, there's this check. I don't know. Is there any other checks? So just calculate which is the right checks you would be looking for. With notations, guys. Rook a3. Yes. Rook a3 was the move. If you guys could have guessed this, then I don't know what. I'm speechless. Bishop into d4. Bishop into d4. Then there is rook into d4. Okay. And I don't see what's the right continuation there. After this takes, this takes. Again, I know you guys are looking for sacks because it's Lasker here, right? Actually, you know what? After bishop into d4, rook into d4, isn't there just queen check? That's a good continuation. Oh, but the rook can just come back. Oh, and then we start crying. Okay. Yeah, that's a little brutal. That's a little brutal, guys. Uh, any other moves? Queen b6. Yes. So we play the move queen b6, and the king has certain options, right? If he goes to a1, then we take on d4, and the king can't move. He's forced to sack. We take here, we give a check, and then we take this pawn, and then the rook can lift itself, and then we threaten mate, and then life is chill for us, right? Okay. So after queen b6, if he goes to c2, then we just start hunting the king with the move rook c8, right? The king d2, and then we take over here, and then the king goes to e1, and then we go queen e3 check. The bishop goes to e2. We go bishop check here, I guess. Yeah, we just start checking. We can even take on this. We can give a check, and after that the rook can go to f8. If anyone's having fun in this position, it's black. Okay, that's all I want to say. So for that very reason, he didn't take the rook. Okay, he didn't take the rook. He calculated all this. Okay, Pillsbury calculated all this. He's telling Lasker, buddy, I'm not some jovial player who you just played and just sacrificed your bishop. I'm not going to take your sacrifices. I know you're such a tricky player. I'm going to take the pawn because guess what? It's a check. Right? So I just take the pawn. So he takes the rook now. Okay, now I'm going to take the rook. Okay, why did he take his rook now? Probably had a brain fade, I guess. Okay. So queen b6. So Pillsbury calculated, I'm not going to move the king. He's like, guess what? You're not the only one who can sacrifice. Boom. You and I can sacrifice. Okay. So he sacrificed his bishop. The point being that after this, I can't take this pawn. If the bishop takes the pawn, thinking that, yeah, we just continue, but then we just lose the bishop, right? So for that very reason, he just sacrificed his bishop. What a genius! What a genius, guys! What a genius. Okay, okay. So king to a1, and now there were some mistakes which nobody knew was a mistake for like 100 years. Okay, for the 100 years, for the next 100 years, people just didn't know that the next moves were played were a mistake. Okay, so let's just look at them. So Lasker played the move rook c7. 1 minute. Wait, wait, 1 second, guys. 1 second, guys. 1 second, guys. There's someone at the door. I just need to. Okay, I'm so sorry for that, guys. So sorry for that interruption. Yep. So again, there was someone at the door, so I had to just get it. Okay. So rook c7 was played, was a mistake apparently. Okay, because black had to play the move queen c4. Okay, and it seems that there is no way to defend the pawn, right? But then he can play the move queen g4, and now how do you how do you attack this pawn again? Okay, the next move, actually Lasker said that he calculated this, but he missed the move bishop e5. Okay, the point was, what's the point again? Yeah, the point was to go probably rook f4 and then take the bishop, or maybe like rook f2. Yeah, rook f2 and then queen c3 was the threat. Okay, so anyways, these moves were missed, so for that very reason, this question mark has arisen. So again, what was the threat with the move rook c7? Can you guess what's the threat? Okay, it's a little bit of lag. So why did he play the move rook c7? Guys, come on. When your opponent makes the move, do you guys even try to imagine, like, do you guys try to think why your opponent made that move, or you guys just start thinking about your own plans? Well, I think you guys come under the latter. Rook c1. Why rook c1? Okay, I know your point. Oh, rook c1 is pretty cute actually. Wow, rook c1 is a very cute threat. So let's say some random move. If he plays rook c1, takes, and then there is bishop takes, rook check, bishop takes c3. Wow, 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 whoa, whoa. I didn't see that. Was that really the threat? I thought the threat was to play rook c2. Wow, we normal human beings think like that. Okay, that was a very nice one, Anchal. Rook d2. Okay, for that very reason, rook d2 was played. But now, yeah, now rook c1 is not possible. Okay, Pillsbury saw that. Because now if you do bishop into, there is rook into, right? Okay, okay, okay. So it is spotted. Rook, rook d2. So Lasker is like, okay, fine. You're just being so annoying. You're just not letting me win the game. Okay, you're just defending all my threats. So you know what? I'm just going to attack your weak pawns. So I'm going to play the move rook c4. Your pawn is weak. Okay. So Pillsbury is like, you know what? My pawn is weak, but I can defend it. So how do you defend the pawn? How do you defend this pawn again? So black is just threatening to play bishop takes d4. So can you guys guess what's the best move? How do you defend the pawn again? Is it really a hard thing? It's pretty easy, right? Easy, right? It's pretty easy. Yes, rook h1 or rook h d1. You mean, right? Yeah. So rook h d1, we double the bubble. Okay. So this was a mistake actually. White had to play rook e1 actually. If I can just show you the variation. So let's say queen a5, rook e8 check, and this is what the variation that they asked for. Okay. And if you take the rook, queen f7, king h8, and the game would have ended in a draw. Yeah. So this is what Pillsbury had to find. But unfortunately, Pillsbury is a human, so that's why I didn't find it. Okay. So as a human, you would expect to defend the pawn, right? So rook d1, and now rook c3. Okay. Now you might be wondering why are all these question marks coming? Actually, even I too don't know. Okay, why the question? Okay, I know the reason. The thing is, it looks pretty obvious. These moves look so obvious. Like let's just attack the weak pawns. These are double pawns. They can never protect themselves, right? The thing is, black had a good move like queen c6, right? So queen c6. What does it threaten here, guys? Queen c6 threatens rook c1 mate. So let's say some random move like h1. We just do this after he takes, and this is just game over, right? And if you play something like king b1, saying that haha no mate for you, we just play the move bishop g5, and black is just crushing here, right? So probably you should have found that, but Lasker was like, you know what, I'll just go after the weak pawns. He did not notice this threat. Okay, just proving the fact that these greatest players can also make certain mistakes. So can we? And now he plays the move queen c4 with the same threat in mind. And this is the point where black makes a critical error and plays the move king b2 because he got scared of the move rook c1. Okay, so at this point, can you guys guess the next crazy move that happened here? Again, when I say crazy, it could be some sacrifice. Can you guys guess a crazy sacrifice, you guys? Oops, I'm getting a call. 1 second, guys. I just have to cut the call. Just until then, just figure out what's the move. Bishop into d4. Come on, that's not a crazy move, right? Anchal. Okay, it is. It's bishop into d4. Okay, let's. Okay, maybe it's a crazy move, but it's not the ultra crazy move that I was looking for. Okay, because after you sack, there's no crazy checks because if you go rook check thinking I win the game, suddenly a queen from nowhere comes and just captures, right? And then you start crying, right? So that's not the crazy move that I was looking for. Okay, any other crazy sacks in mind, guys? Think for crazy sacks. Queen e2. Okay, queen e2 is there, but he can just block it, right? So your point is after the bishop takes, we just lose our bishop. We go rook c2. After the queen takes. Oh, sorry. You mean you want to go queen e2? Queen e2. Oh, but then the rook can just block, right? That's again, and then I think we're kind of out of checks, right? I think we can throw in this check, but then we lose. Yeah, now it's losing because now we can't. We have to protect the rook and all, right? Yeah, and then at this point we start crying now, right? So that's a little terrible, but that's a nice try. That's a nice try again. Waiting for the crazy sack, guys. Rook into a3, king into a3, queen b5. Okay, why queen b5, man? QE. What is QE? Okay, I'm hearing some weird notations today. Okay. If I look at the chat, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna forget notations in chess. So let's not look at the chat anymore, right? Okay, cut. Okay, cut the king off. So you sack the rook and then yeah, you sack the rook. That's pretty much clear. Okay. But the point of sacking the rook is, let's say he plays queen e6. Let's say if king into a3. Now we just play bishop d2, bishop e7, and I think queen b5 is pretty much good. Bishop, what is the move here? Yeah, was it bishop e7? The king just goes right. Huh. I think wait 1 second. Let me try to recall. What is the point of this sacrifice? King into a3. I myself forgot. Oh wait, it was queen c3 check. Yeah, it was queen c3 check, king a4, and there is a mate. Okay, actually I don't want to cover this variation because we will get to that point. Okay, we will get to that point because at one point white actually takes it, so I don't want to spoil it. I just want to give it to you as a puzzle. Okay, so here white was like, I'll just give a check because I love giving checks, right? King h7, and now he takes the rook, which is a little crazy. Okay, the reason why he gave a check and then he took the rook is he thought now there is no bishop e7. I'm so smart because if you play bishop e7, I am going to capture the bishop, right? But but what did white miss here? We were never planning to play the move bishop e7 in the first place, right? Can you guys find it's mate in 5? Yeah, it's mate in 5, and then we're just gonna wrap it up, guys. I mean, he must have calculated this. Okay, he must have calculated this, Pillsbury. Otherwise, he simply doesn't make moves until and unless he calculates. Can you guys find the mate in 5? A5. No, it's a forced mate. It's forced mate. Every move is a check, guys. Every move is a check. A5, A5, A5. Okay, 3 times A5, but 3 times A5 doesn't make it the right answer, Aiden. Okay. Come on. Mate in 5. I'm just going to lay back now. I'll give you guys 2 minutes to find it. So when you see a good move, look for a better one. Quoted by Emanuel Lasker. Look for checks. And when you're giving checks, make sure that, yeah, Queen C3, King A4, yes. That's the only answer. Huh? That's all. Huh? And you resign, or what? Come on, tell the full answer. Does the chat not let you write like 4 5 moves or something like that? Why do you guys just stop over there? Come on, guys. Queen C3, King A4. Okay, come on, guys. Please go ahead of that. Queen A6. Queen A6. Okay, that's an ultra crazy sack, but I don't think that's not even ultra crazy. That's an ultra crazy sack, but I don't think Lasker was that crazy. Okay. Queen C3, King A4, B5, King into B5, Queen C4 check. Okay, and it's still not mate. The king can go to A5. Then continue, Aiden. You're absolutely right. Queen c3, king a4, b5, king into b5, queen c4. The king can go to a5. Where's the mate now? Okay. Okay, is that beyond your depth? Okay. Queen c3. Okay. So probably Pillsbury thought, there's no good continuation over here. There's no good checks because I don't know, like maybe he thought he's going to repeat the moves and then we're going to have a draw or something like that, like this. But Pillsbury missed that after Queen c3, King a4. He can play the move b5, right? b5, it looks like a sacrifice, but it's still a check, right? It's a check. And after the king takes, there is Queen c4 check, right? This is what you guys calculated. And after King a5, you play the move Bishop back to d8, and that's mate. After Queen b6, that's mate. So this is how the game ended, guys. A game with a lot of mistakes too. Okay. Now, why I said that people didn't know that there was mistakes because at that time there was no engines, right? But later on, when they checked the game with engines, like the engines just started disrespecting this game. Until then, people thought that this was the greatest game ever. This was an immortal game by Lasker, right? Yeah, and then that's when the engines came into play and then like destroyed everything. Okay, but nevertheless, was a great instructive game, right? Uh, we just saw some crazy sacrifices, like just like how Mikhail Tal in the last class did, right? So yeah, so these are the two games I wanted to show for today. So today we looked at some double bishop sacrifices to open up the king, and then some crazy rook sacrifices and some crazy sacrifices, right? Yeah. So we will be covering up more sessions like this. So we'll be looking at some crazy attacking games, some crazy sacrificing games. Okay. From the legends, of course, not some random people. Okay. So the next class we will be covering about Steinitz. Okay. He is known as a chess scientist. Okay. So we'll be covering a guy named Steinitz, and he was, I think, the first world champion. So we have to cover his games. Okay. So I think we're done for today, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you guys learned something new for today's class or for today's live session. Hope to see you guys in the next class. So until then, see you. Bye bye. Good day, guys. Thank you. Love you all, guys. I'm going to end the stream right now so you guys can go. Bye bye, everyone.